In the Greco-Roman world, men didn't typically marry until they were 28 to 30 years old. And partly because there was no expectation with the double standard that's typical in all of history. The double standard with regard to sex is that men weren't expected to remain pure or virgins until marriage. They had access to prostitutes and household slaves and other sexual outlets, and that wasn't considered a problem by most people in the Greco-Roman world. Whereas women were expected to be married shortly after going through puberty. When I was in class, I have a 40-page document you may or may not recall of this kind of material from the Old Testament and quotes from the Greco-Roman world and different sources where people are talking about husbands and wives, and it talks about age at marriage, and it talks about, the understanding that it's good if a woman or girl can know how to carry on a conversation and maybe do a little bit of sewing, a little bit of cooking, but that's about it, because she's supposed to learn everything she learns from her husband. That she's supposed to be like a tabula rasa. She's supposed to be like a blank slate on whom the husband can leave his impressions. She's expected to have learned whatever she knows through her husband. A woman getting married right after puberty and a man not marrying until he's 28 or 30 years old. There's a huge difference, not only in age, but maturity, knowledge of the world, and in the Greco-Roman world, the extent to which women were expected to be more or less confined to the home, whereas men could go anywhere and could have a greater education. So their knowledge of the world is different. Their human development at marriage and then throughout marriage. You might say, well, 10 years later, it'll be different. Well, 10 years later, they would have already formed a kind of relationship where he's practically like a parent. Ben Witherington describes it as almost an uncle-niece relationship between a husband and wife at that time. And that changes a lot. I mean, that helps you understand all kinds of things in the New Testament when people are talking about how husbands and wives should relate to each other. It's a significant thing in terms of submission. If the wife has always only been kind of tutored by her husband and taught by him and mentored by him, 3 stages of human development behind him, then it's natural that the man's going to be treated as though he's more knowledgeable, wiser, more experienced, better able to provide any kind of leadership needed, and that's the role that he should have. Which brings us back to that whole thing about love and mercy.